Welcome to How's Your ePresence? This is the very first live version of How's Your ePresence. We're very excited to be here, and I am thrilled that you are joining us for our maiden voyage. We'll be doing these more and more often, and every single podcast will now be a live version of the podcast. So there's a lot going on. Let me tell you this. I should probably share it with you. I'm Mark Galvin, the founder and president of ePresence. And ePresence is a social media management firm. Here's what we do. We help people with their social media, be it for company or individuals or college students. We're always helping people out on their social media. Today, we've got a great show for you. But before I get into the show, I want to share something that's really great. We decided to help people out during COVID-19, and to do so, what we've decided to do is help people out with their LinkedIn profiles. So this is what we're going to do is if you've never had time to work on your LinkedIn profile and you need to clean it up, social distancing has given you an opportunity to spend a little more time on it. Now's the time to do it. And the reason is because your LinkedIn profile is the number one way you can influence your audience, i.e. someone that maybe want to hire you or maybe get a promotion later or even a clients or sales targets. You need to make sure your LinkedIn profile is great. And you do that by joining us. We have a 5-step program that'll help you get to an all-star rating on LinkedIn. And what it will do is we spend an hour together. I only put 10 people in a class. So for just $37.50, which is half price during the current crisis, normally we charge $75. You get to have one-on-one time. And you know something? I know it's great and I know it's worth it. So here's what I'm going to give you a guarantee. If you join us, we're going to give you, and you don't like it, if you don't think it was worth your time, we're going to give you your $37.50 back, and I'm going to pay you $20 for your time. So there is absolutely no risk. How do you join? It's actually very, very easy. I put it on the screen. It is simply this. Go to epresence.me/webinar, epresence.me/webinar, and you can join us there. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about how Facebook is launching their own video app, which means that Zoom may be a little bit in trouble, I would say. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to bring on a great guest. So let's go ahead and do that. Welcome, Mr. Adam Shapiro with Sales Reform School. Adam, how are you?
You're well. Round of applause.
Welcome. I'm glad you're here. Where's the little? Oh, there it is. I was gonna say the little names on your picture went away, but now it's there. So, Adam, Sales Reform School. What is that?
Well, for the last 15 years, I've helped small and medium-sized businesses, mostly B2B technology firms or consulting firms, with how they sell. Usually, that means documenting their initial or intuitively followed sales process, matching up what conversations these companies should be having within that process, and then rolling them out with a series of best practice disciplines that professional salespeople follow so that everyone within a company is rowing and moving in the same direction and following the same process and disciplines. Been doing it for 15 years now.
Wow.
With my clients, it's been a lot of fun.
That's fantastic. So you don't just come in and sit down and bring out your little tablet and say, okay, you need to do this, You do the training. You get deep and involved in their organization, and you give them paperwork, how to do it. You give them the steps, and you share with the staff the sales folks, how they should do that. Is that right?
Similar to you, Mark, we can both do keynotes, and we're glad to get paid for them.
Woo-hoo!
But we know that true behavior change comes from people actually documenting and doing what they live in every day in their lives.
Right.
Just like you wouldn't throw up a generic LinkedIn profile and say, go make it like that. You'll help people craft their LinkedIn profile based on who they are and what they've done and what they hope to accomplish. Similarly, I don't think you can prepare and professionalize a sales team until you've actually showed them what exactly they should be doing in each step of the sales process. Some would call that scripting. Others would call that showing paradigms. At any rate, it is a process, and it is things that needs to be reinforced and practiced with the actual tools that will be used in the field.
Oh, it's brilliant. So you and I have known each other for a little while. How did we first meet each other?
You called me frantic one morning. It was about 8 o'clock in the morning. I was having my coffee. I got a text and a phone call saying, "Hey, I'm friends with a gentleman named TaylorKlaus. he couldn't make it today for my ePresence show. And he says you'd be great at it. And as luck.
And I'm like looking at my watch. I'm like, can you make it? And can you make it to Gwinnett in about 20 minutes, so to speak?
He gave me a few hours to shower and shave and put on a sport jacket and get over there. And we've been fast friends ever since.
So I did tell you I have a bit of a surprise. Hold your breath. Watch this. So, Adam, let's shift to you. You're now officially on the hot seat. I'm going to give you the hardest question I can come up with because I don't want to throw softballs at you. You're a guy that can handle the tough stuff. You ready?
Give it to me.
All right. Are salespeople born or are they trained? Drum roll.
So I actually wrote a blog post about this.
You did
not too long ago, within the last 6 months.
I swear to you, everyone. I'm telling you, I did not see.
Here's my self-promotion on salesreformschool.com under lessons.
Okay.
You can look for a post called "Can She Sell?"
Can she sell?
And my answer to your question is probably, as long as she has 4 things. Does she have passion for succeeding or passion for the product or offering that she's selling?
All right, I'm going to write this down. Passion.
Does she have the requisite intelligence for what it is you're selling and for the audience?
I can't spell intelligence.
Just
I'm writing
rec
smarts.
And intelligence, fine. Smarts. I want competitive people selling for me.
Oh, you betcha.
So do they hate to lose, and they can do what it takes to win? And then lastly, are they fearless? Is she going to be able to take rejection and say, you know what, tomorrow's another day? That's a hint to the picture that's on this blog post, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, really? I got to pull it up. Passion, smarts, competitive, and fearlessness.
That's right. Now, we do find people who are competitive, but the moment you slam a door in their face, they want to run away. That's not the person we're looking for. So they have those.
So I told you I was going to have a little bit of a surprise for you. That's
cool. Sport jackets. 2 feet away from each other.
That's good stuff right there. And honestly, that was a great show. And you shared so much great content and knowledge while we spent just 30 minutes together that we have talked a good bit since then. All right, I'm going to go over some news. I've got a question from a listener, and then we're going to ask you some questions. That sound good to you?
Sounds great. I'm here for
you.
All
right, stay here. Don't go anywhere because I want you to jump in the middle of this. All right, first things first. We're going to answer a question from Philip Paley with Paley Landscaping. He actually had 2 questions. Why is it important to post on a regular basis? And we're really talking about LinkedIn here. And realistically, how much business does one actually receive from LinkedIn? So we're going to put these at the bottom of the screen and go through them. So here's the gig. First and foremost, why is it important? It's all about being found. Social media is only active. It only helps you if you are active in it. And the algorithm knows that. So Adam, if you're not, and I know you do this, you post on LinkedIn frequently. If you're not posting on LinkedIn and engaging, when someone goes to search for someone that does what you do, you're not going to show up. So you've got to be active to make sure that you are sharing the very best content to activate that algorithm. That's why you need to be active. So you got to be active. You have to engage with people that are posting comments or liking your post, because it shows that you are engaged, and by being engaged, you're important to the platform. So that's why it's important to post on a regular basis. Now, the next question, which is very connected to the first, is realistically, how much business does one actually receive from LinkedIn? So you're looking for the ROI. What is the ROI in all this? It's simply this. 93% of buying decisions are influenced by social media. The big word there is influence. And I talk about this a lot. What you do on LinkedIn is a little more passive. And the way it works extremely well is if Philip Paley is trying to pick up a new client, he goes out and he meets him. Let's say that client is you. He meets you, Adam, and you have a big landscaping job, but you're not ready to make a decision. You're really not in the market to find a new landscaper. He can engage with you on LinkedIn by sharing content that's helpful for you, not saying, hey, I sell this, I'm great. What he does is he goes in and he simply shares content with you that's helpful, that'll help you do your job. And you see it, and you're just being reminded of him. So when you're ready to buy, you're going to call him first. That's the biggest value that LinkedIn will give you as an ROI. Well, you're laughing. What are you laughing about?
I have 2 sales opportunities right now for my own business where what you're talking about is happening. And I want to add that the answer to this, to the question, is more about playing the long game.
Right.
So if you are, as part of your regimen, weekly regimen, let's say, is adding to content to LinkedIn, what you're saying is, hey, I'm out there, I'm smart, you should listen to me. I have one opportunity, a gentleman with a head of sales, a gentleman I worked with 20 years ago. I think I heard from him once in 20 years, and that may have been 12 years ago. Out of nowhere, I get an email from him. It says, hey, I'm finally in a position where I can use your services. I've been following you for the last 15 years or so. Let's talk. If I hadn't been posting on a regular basis, both in LinkedIn and through my own website, this gentleman probably wouldn't have known that I was still in the business, and he might not have thought of me right away.
Yeah, he would have forgotten about you.
Would have forgotten about me.
Yeah.
Right.
And there are nice ways that you can use LinkedIn to remind people that you're there. The number one way is I can tag you in posts, right? If you're not active on LinkedIn, I can tag you in a post, and as a result, you get a notification. Hey, Mark Galvin just tagged you on this. And if you're sharing good content, they're going to like it. They're going to pay attention, and they're going to want to engage with you. Well, that's a good point.
Can I give you one more?
Yeah, please.
20 years ago, there's a young man who was on my sales team. He was my all-star salesperson. Loved working with this guy. He was fantastic. Back then, he said, someday I'm going to be CEO of a company. I said, great. I can see it happening. Totally have confidence that's going to happen. Well, it happened.
Wow.
And it happened twice. With this second company, they've run into a bit of a stick with their sales department. Again, out of nowhere, I get an email from his chief revenue officer. I'm not going to say his name. We'll call him Joe. Joe says, you're really smart, and I've got some challenges I would love to go over with you. They're now in my pipeline. 20 years he was on my team. Years ago, he was on my team.
Bravo.
Again, he's been silent in the background on LinkedIn, but he's seen my posts.
And he remembers. Absolutely. So that's just awesome.
One last thing, Mark.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not posting crap.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's I'd rather have very good to great content less frequently than crap or blather more frequently.
Yeah, great point. And so here's crap. I'll give you an example of crap. I'm going to post a politically critical comment on LinkedIn. Now, on Facebook, it's different, right? Facebook is a whole different world. Don't do that in LinkedIn because you're going to alienate one of your audience. Somebody, these days, you and I both know this, half the audience is one political persuasion, half the audience the other. So if you're sharing something that's political, you're probably going to upset with someone. Here's something else. Sharing a picture of what you had for dinner is not worthwhile on LinkedIn unless, and this happens to me, I go to a client's restaurant. I'm probably going to take a picture of the restaurant and say, hey, you know what? This restaurant's a great place. You should go here. And I'll guarantee you the reason I'm doing that is because I want to support my client. So I call that social media gifting. There are other things you can do, but the point is share valid, good quality content. Great point.
One more point.
Yeah.
You mentioned about how commenting on other people's posts. Please be careful that you're not hijacking other people's content. So Mark posts something about doing something new on LinkedIn, and I come in and say, yeah, that's a good idea. You should also think about this. And it's totally self-serving to me and steals the spotlight away from Mark.
Great point. Well done.
Personally, I think that's just, you're being a jerk when people do that. And it's just, it doesn't help you have a personality of helping or a persona or of helping other people out.
You don't want to be a narcissist on your social media. It'll hurt your brand, and it'll cause people not to want to work with you. Yeah. Great. So I got a news item here I want to talk about,
Okay.
and that is Facebook is launching their own video conferencing app. So this is pretty amazing. Facebook's launching their own video conferencing app. You can put 50 people on it and not pay a dime. So right now, Zoom is free up to 100, for the record, except there's one caveat. Facebook has no limit on time. You got a 45-minute limit on Zoom. Here's the question. Yeah, what are you going to say?
Do all the participants have to have Facebook user IDs and passwords?
No.
Interesting.
No, you can send a link out and not be on the platform at all and access the meeting, let's call it. So the question is Zoom at risk? Because Zoom is really everybody's talking about Zoom right now. Do you think this poses a risk to Zoom? What's your thought?
Not a chance.
Why? Really? Why?
Well, I'll start off with an analogy. I have one of my best friends is single. He's on a couple platforms with Match.com, some of their platforms.
Sure.
Facebook comes out and says, "Hey, we're doing dating." People say, "Oh my gosh, this is a big threat to Match." Does this sound familiar?
Mm-hmm.
People are like, "Why would I want to move my dating to Facebook? They steal all my data." That's the worry about them.
Right.
Second, Facebook's not for that. Sure, people might set me up there, but this app is really optimized for dating, the Match sites. I'm going to use that. Do you really think people are going to move off Microsoft Teams and start moving to Facebook? Do you think people are going to move off Slack or Zoom to move to Facebook? I think it'll be niche-y. I think there are groups that are already doing business on Facebook, so they're comfortable with it. I don't see it.
So the only challenge I see to that is the social groups that are using Zoom. They're going to probably migrate over to Facebook to try it because they're more comfortable in Facebook anyway. So what are those social groups? These are the civic groups or the church groups or the casual groups that are jumping onto Zoom. And they'll try it. And I will tell you, I think for those groups, if they are able to, if they have a good experience, Facebook could grab them. Absolutely. They're probably not paying anyway.
Who owns LinkedIn?
LinkedIn's owned by Microsoft.
Who owns Teams?
Teams owned by Microsoft. Well, Teams has they have an interesting conferencing app too, which is interesting. So here's the thing.
It could be just another channel on the dial that
you
turn to for that specific content. Where they have strengths today, like you said, affinity groups, government, nonprofits, things like that.
Right.
That aren't as strong in other platforms. I think you're right.
Yeah. To me, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
Here's what the rubber will meet the road when someone has 250 people they want to get into a webinar. And right now you have to pay a lot of money on Zoom to get that. You have to have a fee to have those numbers. So if Facebook were to provide a solution there, they could pull more business. And here's the thing. I don't trust Facebook. So if Facebook, are they going to steal my data? Because that's really what they want. They want you on the platform.
Does premium help? One last point about this.
Yep.
If I have a Zoom link that I can put 100 people on, people see that I'm really serious about my business.
True.
Spending money for that to happen. There's a premium associated with it. There's almost like a luxury branding if you're using something that really is built for business. If I'm saying, hey, let's hop on Facebook so I can discuss your sales process, what's going on there? Am I not optimizing the experience for my customers?
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I personally would not want to jump onto Facebook if I thought it was a business meeting. I'd feel this is not comfortable, would be my immediate response. All right, I got a question for you.
Okay.
I want you to give me 2 or 3 things people should focus on in sales given today's physical distancing. So give me 2 or 3 things. Don't give me more than 3. I only want 2 or 3.
Okay.
Things people should focus on in sales given today's physical distancing.
I'm going to start with 3 things that when we're doing these sort of sales calls or these sort of sales conversations, meaning it's video and you're going through your laptop or your home computer or even your iPhone or Android, that you need to focus on. First and foremost, Start with why. Why are we on this call? Why do you want me to be on this video call? And what are we hoping? And then hand in hand with why is what are we hoping to accomplish? Why are we here? And why are we here right now? So start with that. Make sure everyone knows what we're doing on this call, on this video call. Second, get to the point. Let's not meander and have other conversations or allow excessive rapport unless the person on the other side of the conversation, you can tell, really wants to have heavy rapport. These sort of conversations can get tiring. So let's get to the point. Let's start with why. And then lastly, Mark, let's pause. Let's give people...
I'm pausing.
I know. You almost jumped in on that pause. You almost jumped in.
He paused.
Folks at home, you probably can't see this, but when I'm talking, it was just me. I paused, and Mark couldn't wait to jump in.
Boom.
Give other people a chance to get into the conversation.
Oh, okay.
More so than you would in a true face-to-face live conversation where you can see body language even better. So start with why, get to the point, and really pause more.
So it's hard to build rapport in general on the phone. It's a little easier through video, but the problem with video is that people are just, they're not quite comfortable with video yet, right? There's still this little bit of awkwardness that goes with it. And I totally get that. But well, you know me, I'm a rapport builder. I love to build relationship. And so I could spend 20 minutes just talking about nothing. So I will ask, why are we here? And I will want them to respond to that, right? So I'm going to, let's do the why.
Or you've already had that part. You've already taken care of that at some other point in time.
Okay.
And now you want to remind. So it's almost like the first item on your agenda is, okay, here's why we're talking.
Okay. All right, good.
Here's what's going on.
So Adam, we're here today because I need to figure out a better solution to drive my revenue because my salespeople aren't being effective. Right? Great. Then what was the next thing?
Get to the point.
Get to the point. So give me an example of that. So if I'm doing that,
let's say we're face to face in real life, not over what is this called? StreamYard or something like that?
Yeah.
StreamYard. Not on StreamYard. When you're trying to think about things, you may think out loud more, you may cogitate, you move your head around. And in real life, you're like, it's okay, take your time, figure it out.
Sure.
Here, I want to know what's going on in your head.
Right.
And I don't want you to meander getting there.
Okay.
Practice what you're about to say to your prospects.
All right. Ooh, practice it.
Anticipate it.
So it's not a bad idea to rehearse.
Not a bad idea to rehearse.
Good. Okay.
Go over it with your manager, your colleague, your best friend, whoever it is. Say, hey, does this sound like something I want to describe to somebody else, or am I beating around a bush and not getting to the point?
Have you read this book?
So now you're going to make me put my glasses on.
Oh, it's Never Split the Difference by Chris Voss. And this is a negotiating book, right? How do you negotiate better? That's the whole point of the book. And he says something I think is very interesting. He said, when you start negotiating, you fall to your preparation. When things get tense, you fall to your preparation. So if you're not prepared to have that conversation, haven't rehearsed, you could screw it up. That's basically his point. So you do need to be prepared.
Well,
all right, that's awesome.
One more thing is get to the point. Let's assume that all of the people you're talking to are having these sort of conversations all day. Not only are they busy, but they're busy doing video calls.
Yeah.
And it can be hard to focus on that little part of your screen where the camera is for 30, 40 minutes at a time, 5 or 6 times a day.
Right.
So if you don't appreciate that and you start wandering around your conversation, they're like, where is this guy? Oh my God, I'm so tired. I got a headache. I haven't eaten lunch yet. What's going on here? Wish you would just get to the point.
Great point. Speaking of points. All right. So what do we need to be especially careful about in this process, right? What are those things are there gotchas in here?
There's a couple here. There's a couple. So we're on video right now. I was preparing for another video webinar that I'm actually doing in a couple of weeks, and I had a sound and video check. Gentleman gets on a Zoom call like this, and he sees my background, and I'm going to walk away from the screen a little bit.
Uh-oh. He's walking on the other side of the room. He's reaching up in the top, and he's getting a bottle of bourbon. No, he's not. He's opened a cabinet door. No, he's not. He's moving a book out.
So
It's looking messy.
He says, "What's that thing sticking out and up there? Could you fix that?" Mark, you know what that is? That is Izzy, the 1996 Atlanta Olympic mascot. His purple and red shoes were hanging out, and he says it's really distracting.
Oh my goodness.
I tucked him back in. I had some papers that were also disheveled. And he said, "Can you clean that up a little bit?"
Really?
So the lesson there was look at your physical environment. And if you're the person who's, let's say you're the salesperson, don't give him anything to distract him or make him think badly of you.
Right. Oh, it's huge.
I would even include, if it's a new contact, be careful what room you're in. Who knows what's in the background that may distract or disappoint them.
Bravo.
Now,
great point.
If someone you're familiar with and you're on a phone, and maybe it doesn't matter so much. I've done some calls from the couch in my bedroom. My bed was made, but it was a long time colleague. It wasn't a big deal. So that's the first physical environment. The second thing to me is be authentic.
Actually, hold on a second. What were you saying?
The second thing is be authentic on who you are. Now, our, I guess we're not listeners because they're watching us. Our viewers would notice that you and I, Mark, are in polo shirts today. We didn't put on the coat and tie or the coat and jacket or the button-down shirt and a jacket like in the clip that you showed.
Right.
Come on. Is someone really who's going to be stuck in their house for the last 4 weeks going to throw on a coat and tie or a coat and button down for a video call? Yeah, I doubt that. Plus, here we're both in Atlanta. It's going to be 75 today. It's sunny outside. I don't think we're putting on the jacket and the button down. So be authentic. Don't try to be someone you're not. Now, if the person you're talking to is used to seeing you in that, and it would be totally inappropriate or out of character for you to dress like we're dressed today, then do that. Just be aware of that. And then, of course, on the negative side, careful. You want to shave. You want to make sure that you're still in your pajamas or whatever. That. By the way, I put on shorts today. Just make sure that there's an appropriateness to your dress, but also an authenticity, if you will, to your dress.
So I love that. So I've been doing my webinars. In every webinar, I'm wearing a jacket. I am putting the jacket on, and I will tell you, this is on purpose. It's because I do want to represent myself in a way as if I showed up at a training, I'm going to have a jacket on. So it's part of the character. It's character. Is that the right word?
Yeah, it's in character for you.
Right. So I do, and it's right here. And literally I throw the jacket on. I may have jeans on. I may have my tennis shoes on, which I would never show up that way. But here I can, because it is, it works. But besides that, I do say in my training that you need to have a jacket on for a profile picture. I say it all the time. So I need to have that jacket.
Unless your brand is totally away from that.
Well, I do say if you're an HVAC tech and you show up in a polo, you don't need to show up in a jacket in your profile picture, because it's incongruent. There's this, it's a streamline. This is the story. The story needs to be consistent.
If you're a marketing creative type, being in a white button down and a blue blazer, it doesn't really inspire the creativity that people may be looking for.
I got one more thing for you. Very insightful. Yeah, go for it.
One more thing for you. Some about this earlier. Watch the fatigue. So if I know, and actually this is the first of, I think, three afternoon video calls that I have. I've got 3 afternoon video calls. I need to find some time to get away from the screen in between those, because again, man, I'm going to have a raging headache if I have to look at this green dot for 5 hours straight.
That is huge.
Watch your fatigue.
I'm going to tell you what. I mean, I'm so glad you said that, because I get up if I'm sitting, and I do this whether I'm looking at a screen or not. If I'm working through my checklist and and I've run out of gas. I know I've got to get up and just walk away and go. Actually, I go up the street with my dog. I take my dog for a walk and walk down the street just to have that mental break, because you can't do that when you can do it when you're in office, right? There's all these other breaks that kind of give you that mental refresh, right? It's like hitting a refresh.
Right.
So hard. It's easy not to get that chance to do it at home. That's brilliant. All right. Yeah. Big smile. You should have a big smile. Congratulations. That was a good one. All right. So Adam, we're out of time, man. How can people track you down?
Well, the best way for your viewers or listeners to find me is on LinkedIn. I think you've published my LinkedIn site right there. Of course, you can also go to www.salesreformschool.com.
Cool.
And find me there. So I try to be everywhere that you tell us we should be. And LinkedIn and my website are the two best.
So it is on the screen if you're watching the video, but I'm going to read this. It's linkedin.com/in/adshap, ADSHAP. So you can find him on that URL, LinkedIn URL. ADSHAP is his handle. And do keep in mind that we are going to drop this as a regular podcast. So if you're listening on the podcast and you're wondering about the video, you can catch this on Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube. I am going to upload this into LinkedIn. We do not have a LinkedIn channel yet. I am petitioning for that. So maybe in the future you'll find that. But the point is you can find great information by going to see Adam. He is a wealth of knowledge. Your target audience you're looking for software firms. Is that right?
Well, nowadays it seems like technology touches everything. So
sure,
it's not a central part of what you do. It's a differentiator or something that makes you unique. So really it's B2B companies with at least 6 people involved in sales, marketing, and delivery. Outside of that, if you're smaller, we can set up some sort of retainer arrangement. I have plenty of those. Larger, bring them.
I tell you what, anyone out there, if you are trying to figure out how you can drive your leads, how do you going to make your sales team work better? How you don't know what you don't know. That's a great one. I know my sales are not where I need it. If you know your team can be more effective, can be more efficient, and maybe your director of that team stinks. We've seen this, right? Your leadership's not quite there. I would call Adam. He can come in and he can help you.
By the way, Mark, one last thing. If you do go to my LinkedIn profile, you'll see that throughout this pandemic, I've been offering free half-hour consultations. If you want to talk about it. And these are actually a little more off script. I'll talk about anything. The other day, I had a gentleman from Saudi Arabia ask for 30 minutes. It was great. We had a fantastic conversation.
Bravo. Well, that's awesome.
And my Calendly link is in there.
Awesome. I am glad that you found time to spend a little time chatting with me today. And I do appreciate your friendship. So thank you very much. So everyone else, I want you to know we are doing this webinar. I'd love for you to join us in the webinar. And the reason I keep bringing it up is it's so valuable. You have an opportunity to clean up your LinkedIn profile in an hour for $37.50. That's it. So please look at joining us. Go to ePresence.me/webinar, and you'll be able to join us there. Also, hit me on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn at ePresence.me. This has been our very first video version of How's Your ePresence. I'm so thankful that Adam, he's still there. Adam was willing to join me for this maiden voyage. And by the way, I did the same thing to him that I did on his when he came to the podcast. I didn't tell him I was doing a video until about 20 minutes ago. I said, go take a shower. We're going to do this on video. So Adam, thank you for your flexibility. I appreciate you.
Anytime.
All of you, you can find our show on any social media program. You can find us on any of your podcast app that you have out there. Go give us a look for How's Your ePresence. You can track us down there, and also check out our website, ePresence.me. Until next time, for my guest, Adam Shapiro, I'm Mark Galvin, and this has been How's Your ePresence?